Welcome to the Heat of Waves podcast. I am Mr. Bradley, the host. Here with me, as always, my great co-host, my best friend, none other than T-Ball.
Hey guys, how we doing? Glad to be here, ready to talk some gun control today.
Yes, we're doing a little bit of a different segment. We're not doing the sports. Like we said, we've always wanted to branch out, and that's exactly what we're doing here today. And I have a special guest. She is the love of my life, my better half. So we would like to have a woman's perspective on the old gun control. So none other than Jackie.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
This is going to be a touchy subject, obviously. A lot of people are not going to agree with what we say. Some people agree. Some people are going to be like, hell yeah. And we're just going to try to go over the whole gun control thing, what the America's really doing here, trying to take our guns, maybe give our opinions on, what we think they should do or how they should be doing it, and really what happens if you do take our guns. So, T-Ball, you kind of want to start it off today, and
Obviously here on, as everybody's seen on social media, the news, national news, gun control is a big issue in the United States right now.
Absolutely.
There's been about 260 shootings since the Sandy Hook incident, at least 260 school shootings since the Sandy Hook incident. But yeah, it seems like gun control is one of the biggest issues in America.
Yeah, and it's only getting worse because you got more of these stupid, crazy kids out here that don't know much, like the guy that, tried to walk around in Walmart down here in Springfield, Missouri, where we're from. It seems like all these young kids don't even know how to use a weapon. They're just going out there grabbing one so they can be, get their whole 15 minutes of fame, and be on there. And there's no really good background checks that stop you from getting it because there's criminals all over the world are going to get a gun regardless. And it's like, what do we do about that? How do we stop that? And these school shootings, kids are just taking their parents' guns, essentially. They don't even have to buy a gun. They can just go out and take their parents' guns if they know where it's at and kind of halfway to use it. And a lot of kids are doing that. And then, of course, you have just these weird, crazy motherfuckers going out there just, I'm pissed off at the world. My job pissed me off. I guess my question is, like, what are we going to do here if they do take everybody's guns? Like, especially for a woman's perspective, a little small woman, right? Like, if they took your gun, then how are you going to defend yourself against a big old dude like me coming up trying to get you?
Drug trafficking and sex trafficking and everything that's going on, I don't feel safe.
It's a scary fucking country we live in, and we have to have guns. And it's just the guns are going to the wrong people, and the wrong people are using them, obviously. I mean, that's just common knowledge. But how would you defend yourself? I mean, you're 5 foot nothing, 100 pounds soaking wet, so...
I guess that's what they expect me to do is to just kick them in the balls and run away?
Yeah, like...
Better learn some taekwondo. Especially for little ladies, I think it's anybody, old little ladies, anybody who feels the need to basically protect themselves from a potential deadly threat. The whole question is, I don't think it's about taking our guns. That's never going to happen. The average gun user or gun owner, the average household that owns a gun, on average, actually owns about 8 guns per household.
Right.
I think that's as of 2013. So I think about 25% of the country owns weapons, and that's just registered weapons.
Yeah.
So like you were poking on, how would they take all the guns? They wouldn't be able to. They're like drugs. Drugs are illegal, but doesn't mean people aren't going to use them or possess them. You can, and having a gun is a right. It's one of your amendments to be able to not only brandish a weapon, but own it, buy it, do whatever the fuck you want with it in a safe manner. I think the problem mainly with gun control nowadays is not only, like you were saying, the 15 minutes of fame, because what happens is anytime there's any type of shooting at all, people are willing to do anything nowadays to get famous.
Yeah.
And when you give a shooting mass social media attention and worldwide news, you're giving exactly what they want. So gun control, taking guns is not an option. I can tell you that right now.
No.
Nothing's going to stop people from owning guns. Only thing you're going to do is make it illegal to now own guns, which, like we get back to, makes it unfair for people like you who need one. I think everybody should own a gun. It's all about the responsibility of the gun.
Absolutely.
Responsible gun owners.
Jordan's been shooting since she was 2. She's 13 this year. and she knows gun safety. I think the thing is if you teach your children at a young age how to act around a gun, handle a gun, and know that it's not a thing to play with, even a little toy Nerf gun, you don't just let a kid point it at your face and be like, huh, it's not funny.
Shoot your eye out.
That's,
Even those,
that's
even
true.
those are lethal.
That's where it starts.
Right.
It's when you get first introduced guns to a kid. Obviously, with the boy, 2, 3, he's going to get his first little Nerf gun. You got to kind of take into effect there that you're basically showing them what a real gun could possibly do, and that's a good way to start, is to be like, teach them gun control with a little tiny plastic gun. Be like, hey, if you're going to get this gun from Walmart, you got to know that you can't point it at anybody's face. If you're going to shoot it, you got to shoot it at certain things. That's where gun control starts. The responsibility of the gun's a big responsibility. And when you put it in people's hands who have no care in the world, especially these young kids nowadays, they're basically, like I said, trying to get their 15 minutes, trying to see, like you mentioned, the guy in Springfield here in our hometown. He was basically just
nothing wrong.
Using his rights, basically using one of his rights to do what by law is allowed to do, but he did it stupidly. He walked into this huge crowded place with not only just a rifle, but other weapons and a lot of ammo, which is not responsible. Now, if you want to walk down the street with that shit, that's perfectly fine, but if you go into a big, giant, open, crowded area, people are gonna panic. Yeah,
but to just go off of that, if he would have been walking down the street, people would have panicked too. They're gonna be like, "Look at this guy! He's got a fucking bulletproof vest. What do you have? 2 pistols or something like that?
2 pistols and a rifle.
And a rifle,
100 rounds of ammo.
Not an automatic rifle. So let's not go crazy with that, because that's the problem with America too. They say every fucking mass shooting or would-been mass shooting is an automatic, high-powered rifle. No. This guy had just an AR. Yeah, it can do damage. It can kill people, of course. But if he's walking down the street, there's still going to be some people calling the cops and freaking the fuck out because they're like, what the fuck is this guy about to do? We're in a country, in a state right now that all these shootings keep happening. And if that guy would have been walking down the street, it has still been a problem. But yeah, it is his fucking right.
It's a bad time. Crazy. It's a bad time to exercise that right.
Yeah,
24 hours after a mass shooting in a Walmart. I mean,
right, another Walmart in El Paso, just prior to this,
and one in Ozark.
The young kids need taught the proper things, and a lot of parents aren't doing that. There's, they're not showing anything like that. They're letting them, even with Nerf guns, like we were saying, hurt each other. It's all about the responsibility, because like this big saying goes, guns don't fucking kill people. It's people and how people use them, and that's what we're talking about. And that's what we're getting at, and what I'm kind of going back to here. It's like, but then you got these older people, like I said, that are just fucking crazy and somehow get a license to have a weapon. It's like, do we not do extensive background checks anymore? It's just like, we'll run his name. If he has some priors, as long as it has nothing to do with guns or weapons, we'll sell this guy a gun in 5 minutes so he can go fucking hurt somebody again. And that's not how it should be at all.
Well, it also stems from not only the lack of responsibility, but the lack of education people get from a weapon. When I was in the military, we never called our rifles guns. They were weapons.
Right.
Guns you use to kill people with. Weapons you use to defend yourself with. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to people, but I think what people don't realize is when you own a gun, and it's not just how we do our background checks. Background checks take a couple days. You can't, on most places, you can't just walk into a store and get a gun. If you go into any place that legally sells firearms, it's going to take at least a day or more, depending on your state's laws.
Well, let's stop you. I bought 2 pistols, a year and a half ago?
Yep.
In 30 minutes at Academy Sports.
Really?
Before that?
Yeah. I mean, they supposedly did our background check and looked at, mental history or anything, but from everything that I've ever known, it takes at least 24, like you said, to 48 hours to even get those back. So how could they tell us that they actually looked at our whole background before giving us our guns?
In which I have no background, and she has no background.
Never done anything wrong, but that's not the point. It was literally maybe 30 minutes, and we had our guns in our hands.
Right, and that can be the case for most of the people that are doing these shootings. They're just people who have no backgrounds, have never been paid attention to, maybe have had a shitty life, and finally decided to get out of their depression, out of their house, and they thought the way to solve it was by going into a hotel
Yeah.
and sitting up from the top tower and just mowing down a whole fucking concert of people.
What I don't understand is those people didn't do nothing to you. Why are you even thinking about killing thousands of people that didn't even do nothing to you?
Right.
That
Makes
you don't
no
even know.
sense.
You don't even know these people. It's because, like T-Ball was saying, is because, oh, they were nobodies. Nobody ever paid attention to them, and they never been in trouble. And they're like, you know what? I'm tired of being picked on. I'm tired of being hurt. I'm tired of not being listened to. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to hurt a bunch of people. And their mind just doesn't think like us, you know, cognitive people like we are. Like, oh, I'm not going to go do that. Why? Prison time. I'm going to hurt innocent fucking people, which I don't want to do because that's not the right thing to do because we were taught the right way. We were taught responsibility. And that's the problem. A lot of these people are mental that fucking go out there and do this shit. That's the scary thing. You have to always look out for that. So no matter what, we're kind of fucked. Even if somebody did have a clean background and never did anything wrong or anything like that, but then one day just fucking snaps because of something, or they were crazy all along and nobody ever knew because they never did anything, they can just go out and get a weapon. Or
well, like you were saying about kids that are going out and killing people because they've had something happen to them. 9 times out of 10, it's because somebody's been bullying them.
well, yeah, that's what
And
I'm
the
saying.
schools ain't gonna do anything about it, so they either think they gotta kill themselves now, or
somebody
kill
else.
everybody else that's been doing it to them so it stops.
Well, there's a problem in itself, too. Being bullied doesn't justify shooting anybody either.
No.
I mean,
No, not at any means.
you got to look at it from the parent's fault. If your kid's getting bullied and he has to resort to a gun to solve his problems, that means you didn't teach him something.
You
right.
failed them.
That means you didn't teach him how to put up his fucking hands and defend himself. So he resorted to the easiest thing there was, and that was a pistol. It's, again, a lack of education because you see these people who are not only using guns in these improper ways, but the media taking it to a level where they're like, oh, yeah, they're automatic weapons and blah, blah, blah. The guy in Vegas. His rifles, his ARs, which, by the way, does not stand for assault rifle. It stands for armor light rifle. It does not mean it's automatic. You can make any weapon in the world automatic. But it's a lack of education because the media comes from a standpoint where they're talking about these guns and they're 100% wrong. You know how many people die in the United States on year due to gun violence? 30,000. You know how many people die of alcohol-related incidents? 80,000.
Get them.
Drugs? 70,000.
Get them.
So they're hyping up certain weapons just like with the whole pit bull issue here in our state. The pit bull is now this vicious fucking dog scrutinized by these people who've probably never met a pit bull in their life.
Probably.
These people who are on TV talking about guns have probably never even seen a gun in real life.
Or ever held one.
They know nothing about the subject. You have these kids from the Sandy Hook, that one kid talking about gun violence. What the fuck do you know about guns and or gun violence?
Yeah, 10, 11,
because
12.
you were in a shooting incident, you're all of a sudden an expert at guns and what our country should do with our weapons. Our country was founded on the right to bear arms. Because our government was in a position to where they put us in a corner and were like, oh, if we don't pick up arms, our government's going to take exactly what we've been trying to fight for this whole time. Exactly what we were trying to get away from.
But I guess no matter where you go with it, though, like we said, someone's going to get a weapon. Because if you put it in a perspective this way, like, okay, let's say the government did somehow pass a law, all this shit, and they're like, okay, we're going to take all guns away from people that are all registered. Everybody that we know, at least the guns you have. And everybody's like, okay, we all comply. Well, the only people that aren't going to comply are crooks. You think crooks, gangbangers, thugs, wannabe fucking whatever are going to give up their weapons whenever all of us good people do? No, all the good people are going to give away their fucking weapons. And then we're left with all the bad people having weapons still and more shootings happening. Because it's easier to just take someone's shit or rob you or hurt you or anything.
Yeah, try being the captain or sergeant of that police squad who when that law comes across, has to go, all right, we're going into the worst part of Harlem or the worst part of L.A., and we have to go in here and confiscate as many guns as we can.
Yeah.
How well you think that's going to go over? You going to be the cop that sits there and goes, oh, that's the plan? Okay, yeah, let's go do that. Hell no. I would be
Suicide.
like, you go in there and get them guns. I ain't going and getting them guns. So, yeah, you're exactly right. You know, you got people who are bad or people who don't register their weapons who are like, yeah, take everybody's fucking guns. They don't know shit about my guns. And even if you make it to where you don't get guns in this country, you can make a gun out of anything.
Right.
You can get a pipe, drill a hole in it, spray fucking lighter fluid in it, or hairspray, put a potato or a pack of fucking metal balls in it, light that bitch, and it's going to kill somebody.
Right, kaboom.
And if you're not using guns and all the guns are gone, guess what else they're going to use?
I can kill you
Shit
with
that
this
goes
pin.
boom, like they do in the Mideast, because they
Right.
can't afford guns.
Right, or get the materials to make one. An ongoing battle that we're never going to win because someone will always make weapons, and it's only going to get worse if they actually think that they can come in and take all of our weapons.
What
Okay,
are you
you're
gonna
not going to
do?
go into bumfuck goddamn country, hillbilly some bitches. You know, their land, their hundreds of acres they own, and you think they're going to give up their guns? You think they're going to give up their rifles, their shotguns, pistols, you name it? No.
No, because down here, if you own your land and you're what 5 feet in on my property, I can shoot you
And it's totally fine.
legally. If I tell you to leave, or if there's a no trespassing sign and you come on my property, I have the right to shoot you.
There
Especially-
are times where you walk up on somebody's property and all you don't hear shit except a
Right.
and then next thing you know, you got a gun in your bag, and they're like, "Who the fuck are you? And what are you doing on my property?"
If they're even going to ask you that question, allow you to...
So it's not just criminals using guns; it's the average Joe. It's people who are in a spot to where they're alone for a reason. So yeah, good luck getting their guns. You know, they probably got all kinds of stuff in their basement. If you were asking me and you want to control guns, it starts off by educating people to use guns. Step up security in schools. I mean, you don't have to have a metal detector, but you can have a security guard at each door.
I've
You
been
can-
saying that for the last, I don't know how many years, all these school shootings happening. I'm like, step up the security, put fucking, metal detectors and stuff. Make our taxes a little bit higher for our kids' safety, which is the future anyway. So, get that going with that. I'll pay a little more in taxes, I guess, to the point to where every gun that you buy, you should be 21 or older. So you can buy a rifle at 18 or shotgun, which does more damage than a pistol at 21. It's like everything should be at 21 or 20. I think 25 at some points.
The pistols because of the conceal factor.
Right.
That's why.
Yeah.
But I think it should be higher up. If they want to try to help this out, yeah, there are going to be people that get fucking weapons regardless, guns, knives, whatever. But if you hire it up to, let's say 21 all the way across the board or 23 across the board, that gives more time to mature and get that responsibility from parents and people showing them how to use a weapon.
I feel like if you are going to buy a gun, what you should have to do is anytime you buy any type of gun is take a 1 to 2 day gun safety course.
Requirement.
Required. You
It
want to buy a
should.
gun? Not only do you have to have a background check, you have to be old enough, and you have to take a safety course.
I think not just education on just guns, but also mental health. Because what if you think about it, like our kids in school are learning about guns, but they also need to know the warning signs about that kid that's across from them that might be a little,
The crazy fucker
yeah,
that's going to shoot up school.
like not, yeah, that's going to shoot up the school. You're going to need that also, the mental health, so those children know that maybe I shouldn't pick up that gun.
You're absolutely right.
Oh, and then the rifles too, but if you take away that, a lot of down here in the South, I don't know about other places, we also have competitions for hunting and in
Absolutely.
schools and stuff like that. So that's why the age on rifles is so low, but maybe you can't have it, maybe it's got to be, I don't know how you would say it, maybe just a little higher in the age.
That's a good point when you bring up hunting too, because if you think about taking away the guns, you're taking away guns out of hunters who control certain animal population as well.
Oh yeah.
You don't control animal population, that becomes a big problem for people also. You take away guns, that take away guns from police officers. People who don't, that's why I'm saying people who don't agree that there should be all these guns. Guns do a lot of beneficial things. as well.
Absolutely.
Criminals are criminals for a reason.
You don't always have to have a loaded gun to stop a crime.
No.
Nope.
You can have an unloaded gun in your possession, and if a guy's robbing a store and you got bigger balls than he does and you pull it on him, most of the time the guys that are robbing that liquor store are going to be like, oh shit,
Hands up.
yeah, my bad, don't shoot me, please.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, basically anybody with a felony shouldn't have a fucking gun.
No.
Do you
It's
agree with
illegal
that?
for them
Right,
to.
no, I don't think anybody who's done prison time or has ever been convicted of a felony should be able to possess a firearm. You've ruined your chances of owning a firearm. Now, the whole thing that they can't vote, that's bullshit.
Right.
Just because I've gone to prison and I've done my time, I've gotten out, doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to vote. But owning a gun,
No.
no. Because most...
So I guess what we're trying to get at here is the fact that no matter what age you are, no matter what your mindset is, someone will always get a weapon, America. So you trying to take our weapons isn't going to work. That's never going to work. That's hands down never going to fucking work.
I think it's more extensive background checks, and like you said, T-Ball, like no felons, period. I don't care if it was a non-violent crime. You're a felon for a reason. That means you're a criminal, you broke the law, you don't deserve to have that right. You can vote, but you shouldn't be able to carry around a weapon,
Absolutely not.
period. And more mental health and more education on guns for children who are way younger. They should be able to learn those things. Like I said, we've been teaching Jordan since she was 2 years old on how to take care of guns, on how to act around them, and how don't touch them
Right.
unless there is something absolutely wrong. If you are fearing for your life and someone is trying to kill you, that is the only time you're allowed to pick it up, unless you're hunting, and then that's with an adult.
Right.
Yeah, your best safety is always this thing right here. I just feel like the big problem with gun safety in this country is lack of education, the media attention that it's given.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, yes.
I'm not saying, and when I say that, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be covered. It shouldn't be talked about. But there are some things we can keep under the rug. Maybe keep it local, not blast it all over social media, blast it all over, because all you're doing is feeding the fire. That's what these kids want nowadays. I don't understand the generation nowadays. They strive so hard to be famous.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They will literally do anything they can think of to be famous, and now gun shootings is just the thing to do to get famous. And I feel like if the media brings down the fire a little bit, we give a little more education on it, and people are just use their fucking heads. Don't be an asshole. Like, Jesus Christ. Don't be the dumbass guy who gets all full battle rattled and walks into a Walmart and scares the shit out of people. Like, that's just not smart. All you're doing is creating an even worse image for responsible gun owners.
Ruining it for the rest.
Yeah, you're just taking away something that I like to do. It's like when they're talking about Coca-Cola and they're like, oh, it'll give you diabetes. Look, it gave this person diabetes or that, and this person's talking about how bad it is for you. Well, I don't care that it's bad for you. I enjoy Coca-Cola.
Right.
I want to be able to drink my Coca-Cola. So don't take my Coca-Cola and ruin away from everybody else. How about you just don't drink it, and we'll be fine. You don't use a gun because you don't know anything about guns, so just leave them alone. Stay in your lane, and if you allow the people to, come up, and I think they should actually, I think you're right. 21 years old, you should be able to, that should be like the minimum age to buy a gun. But
Yeah.
I think once you get a gun, I think you should be able to buy as many guns as you want.
Yeah.
Now, you have to report all those guns, and it has to be, because there's people that just collect guns. They don't use them, they just collect them.
And I don't know, I guess kids are going to be kids regardless, but we got to teach our kids the right way and the wrong way. Not just just go out there and play with that BB gun or whatever kind of gun it is. Just have a fun time. We're past that point now because we have too many video games that are violent. I don't think that's the problem here. I don't think that's the cause of it. I just think it's stupid people, like you're saying, and we all need to be responsible. We need classes We all need to look out for each other on the why, because there's those assholes out there that are, I got a gun, motherfucker, and walk into a store and think they're Billy Badass. You know, it's
Like there's some people that own a
need
gun
those.
and don't even know what kind of gun they have.
Exactly.
What is that?
I don't know, a high point, the most junk gun there ever is. Those are the funny guys that own a high point 45 that's just fucking big as a goddamn center block, and it weighs as much as one too, and they don't know anything about it. Those are the scary people you don't want. That's what we're trying to get away from. It just should be so an extensive ass background check, 24, 48 hours, so they can actually completely search it. I think you should have to.
Yeah, it should go through an
classroom.
ATF. Anytime you buy a gun, I feel like it should go exactly through the ATF's data bank. The ATF sends back or FBI, and it sends back any information. Once that information gets back, then you get your gun.
All right. So, I guess with that being said, we'll see what happens. But we all know they're not going to take our shit. So quit trying, America. Let's just be smarter about it. And let's quit spreading media lies and rumors.
They say usually when a communist country is formed or a dictatorship, when a dictatorship comes in, the first thing they do is disarm their citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're scared that we are going to rise up. You're paid for by us. We are the ones that employed you to take care of us and govern us and keep all of the laws in line. And if not, we're going to use our way.
Force.
Taking back what's fucking ours.
Yeah, because what if, Donald Trump even sat there and said, if they don't get the wall built, I'll declare martial law. Motherfucker, you better believe my gun's going to come out of its holster when martial law is declared because it's going to be fucking chaos.
We just need to stricken the fucking laws and stop letting every Tom, Dick, and dumbass Harry out there have a fucking weapon. Plain and simple.
True.
Have classes. Teach them young. Fuck. I know 5-6-year-olds know how to shoot a gun and know things about it better than 20, 30-something-year-old people that are out here doing their social experiments in Walmart.
Maybe they should go around like the census doing and be like, hi, I'm with the census. How many people you got living in this house? Oh, 4? Okay. How many guns? Oh, okay.
But then people are going to be mad. They're going to be like, well, you don't have any fucking right to tell me or know what kind of guns or how many I have. Well, no, they don't. But hopefully you're the people that are the responsible ones.
Hopefully.
And not the criminals. That's the problem in the world. There's criminals. And you have to stop criminals with something, right? Most of the time, these don't stop them because they'll just keep doing it. Sometimes you got to shoot a motherfucker. And they realize that pain in their leg or wherever you may have shot them, that like, oh, fuck, I don't like this feeling. I'm going to stop being a fucking criminal. I'm going to be a good person.
I'm just saying, if we're in a store and a mass shooter comes in, would you rather me hide my gun and not use it, or not have one at all, or protect everybody that's around me?
Right. What if you're the one that was the only one with the gun and this happened, like you're saying, and you shot and killed that fucking would have been mass shooter wherever you were at?
I'd rather have 12 jurors judge me than have 6 carry me.
Exactly. Let's end it like that on a good note. I am Mr. Bradley, and as always, my great co-host, T-Ball.
Yeah, thanks for being with us, talking a little gun control. Let us know what you think. If you have any comments, questions about gun control, you want to let us know how you feel about it. Maybe you have a different aspect than what we do. We'd love to hear it. But make sure you like, subscribe, and keep tuning in.
And always, like I said, guest appearance, how to have a woman's perspective. And it's always nice talking about different things with other than just testosterone in the room. My love of my life, Jackie.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And with that, like, share, subscribe, and comment down below.